Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome to another market forecast for today. And let's do a recap of what happened yesterday. So, yesterday basically we had three possibilities. I think it was like that. Let me just try to remember a little bit what. Okay, so we had this 4 hour fair value gap right here, and I thought the most likely thing to happen in the market was getting into this fair value gap and actually going lower, okay, instead of only going lower like this. And it was green. And just to remind you guys of the colors, blue is what I think will happen the most, and green is in the middle basically, and red I think will happen. I think red is what will happen the least. It's what I believe the least that will happen. Okay. Um, So those were my predictions for yesterday. As you guys can see, what I thought was the least to happen for today was what actually happened. Okay, so regarding yesterday, that was it. This is what happened yesterday. It was a bullish move. It was a bullish day as I thought. So let's go to today's market forecast. Let's go to DXY. So, if we see DXY on the daily time frame, we'll see that there is a fair value gap right here, okay, which price is already into this fair value gap and actually a bit out of it, all right? Um, but there's one thing we have to pay attention that, for example, this fair value gap is in the daily time frame. So basically, what I think would happen the most if this was the only information that I saw was, of course, going bullish on DXY. But that's not the case. And why is that? Because if we go to the 4 hour time frame, you're gonna see that we also have a fair value gap there, but this fair value gap here was a little bit filled, all right? It was at least touched. So the orders right here were, some of them at least, were taken, and we saw a big movement up. All right, so that makes me think that that daily fair value gap was also filled. All right, because those fair value gaps are basically in the same region, and maybe that's why we're not seeing a reaction on this fair value gap zone as we would like to expect, as the candle's wick would be going right here. I believe that may happen today. We may see a reaction to this fair value gap here, but since on the 4 hour time frame we've already touched this fair value gap, it makes me think that on DXY, I think it's most likely to go down, right? And maybe going after this imbalance right here, okay? Um, but I don't disconsider this possibility here. Actually, I'm gonna put it to green. I don't think it will happen the least. Um, but it will all depend on how price behaves in that zone. Okay. Basically, on the XY, I'm gonna wait for it to make another low and then break this low down, and then okay, maybe right on this possibility. Okay. So let's go to Euro USD daily time frame. Okay. And if we see Euro USD, and if we see its fair value gap on the daily time frame, let me just erase it. If we see this fair value gap on the daily time frame, we're gonna see that the situation here is basically the same on DXY, because we also have a fair value gap here on the daily time frame. But if we go to the 4 hour time frame, we'll see that we also have a fair value gap confluence with that, but this fair value gap was actually more filled than the DXY's fair value gap. So which makes me think that um, we have the same possibilities for Euro USD. Okay, so since this fair value gap was a bit filled already, we may see a move up for today. Okay, you have to keep that in mind. And okay, and take this to blue. Okay. Okay, we have that imbalance here. That price may reach to. So yeah, I would say the target if the day is bullish would be here. Okay, but I think you guys can figure out that my bias for the day is not clear. It's gonna depend on how price behaves inside of this zone, right? Basically, if we go down to the 1 hour time frame, we see there's no close lows to this further gap. If you go to the 30 minute, we'll see the same thing. We only see this low right here. Okay, this is solid liquidity here. 15 minute and 5 minute. If we go to the 5 minute, we're gonna see that we have some lows here, right? Right here. Okay. All right. So I would prefer, since the 5 minute time frame is not clear as I wanted it to be, I would prefer going to this low on the 15 minute time frame, basically this swing low, right? And what happens is that if I see this swing low taken out and I see confluence between time frames and I see a nice behavior of what price is doing right now, I may sell, right? But if I see those highs taken out right here, I may buy, all right? Buy sell liquidity. Okay, I may buy. It will all depend on what happens. And one thing I forgot to map on last market forecast was the time that I trade, basically 7 a.m. New York time to 10 a.m. New York time, and also um, New York midnight open, right? I actually always mark out after the market forecast in my back test, but for some reason I always forget to do it on the market forecast. But anyway, uh, let's tag the midnight price here, right here. Okay, open right here. All right. So since the open is here, we are on a premium level. We are on a premium market for selling, right? And we have to keep that in mind. And actually, it's fun that this midnight open price was basically the same price as this sell-side liquidity level. So if this day is bearish, I will consider a move down here, and I will consider this as a premium for selling. All right, I'm gonna wait for this setup to happen. But if this day is bullish, I may wait for a little bit of more confirmation that it will actually go up. So maybe if I see a breakout here on this low, if I see if I see this high swept, I may wait for the first entry to happen and then I will enter in only the next one. All right. Um, so let me just slash the hammer for today. My bias for today, for the first time on market forecast, is a little bit of undefined. All right. It will all depend on how price behaves since price is on a very undecisive zone. All right, so if we see price go through this zone, we may see price going into this inside liquidity. All right, but if not, we'll have a very huge selling opportunity. All right, because we have a nice range down. Okay, we already have a nice range down from this zone, this regular gap right here, but if we take that trade until the weekly low, we're gonna we may have this range to explore, right? But let's see what happens. Let's see how things evolve, and then we'll get to a more concrete decision, right? So basically, this is my market forecast for today, and let's see what happens. Okay. So stay tuned. And oh, I forgot the news. Sorry, guys. Um, we only have news at 8:30 a.m. here today on CAD and USD. High impact news, so be careful on that time. I'm not gonna trade that time. I basically stopped trading like 10 or 5 minutes before the news, and after I see the high volatility going out of the market, like I think 5 minutes or 10 minutes after it, I'm going to trade again, right? So keep that in mind. I just opened OBS. I don't know why. Anyway, keep that in mind. And for the market forecast for today, I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like button down below and also subscribe to the channel if you like the content. All right. So thank you very much. Have a nice day and have a nice trading day. Bye bye.